Ṣé jàre? A sì bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Okay. Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. How's the weekend been going?
Oh, not bad. Just managing.
Yeah. Okay, so just want us to give others a few minutes so that they can join in. The number here is still very small, so let's just give them a few minutes to join in. Oh, I had forgotten now that I wasn't sharing my screen. Yeah. So I want to believe everyone can see my screen now. So all I did was came here, copied the header, came here, pasted it. But I know content and then repeating them. Okay. So all I said was come here, create your data validation, which at this point, I want to believe everybody knows how to do that. We all know how to do that, right? So data validation. So here, selecting a list. Here, I'm going to give you the source for that list. So the source for that list is everything here. Then I'll ignore all these other messages just so that we can move faster with my enter. So now I have everything that list in here. So yeah, for this part, all I said was using VLOOKUP, you were to return. So lookup value was to be whatever you had in here, comma. Then your table array, of course, would have to come from here. And being that you're selecting this thing from here, so I have to make sure that array starts from the very first one. Okay, so I'm putting everything in my array. There's a reason for that, even though I'm working for the first one. Okay, so that's my array. Langdon, why are you drawing on my? People just like creating distractions. Now I have to come and start cleaning what did. I should have used to go ahead with what we do. Okay. So after the table array, the next thing is the column index. And for that very column, we are working on full name, which is the second column, comma, and then of course we need an exact match. So close our bracket, hit enter. So why is it giving us this? Because here there is nothing here. So if I come back here, select a number, because I'll see that it will work. So if I come here, it's just the issue we have is most of you like too much of shortcuts. Because if I come back here and I do the same thing, come back here, do the same thing, come back here, I will not have that issue. But because you want to use shortcut and just fill in everything at once, that's where you now begin to talk about locking, talk about this. So I could just come here. Let me click on the formula. Come here, copy this formula. So just come here, paste the formula here. Then all I'll just do, yeah, I know I need column 3. So I'll just change this to 3. Hit my enter. Come here, same thing. Change this to 4. Hit my enter. Come here. Change this to 5. Hit my enter. Yes, you may feel like this one takes too much time. Of course, there are ways to lock, but this is easier to understand. That's why I'm using this. The locking now gets some people way more confused. So this is 6. And since what you're doing is not so much, you could just do it this way. So I think this is 7, right? Then this is 8. This is 8. And then this is 9. Okay. So the moment I've done this for everything here, I've done this and everything is in order. So if I come here, now the reason why I can change this and it affects everything here is because for all of it, the array is the whole table. So I have that table covering everything within the array. So even if I come here and I change this to it will affect everything. I come here, change to another number. So everything will change. So that is that. It is now when you're trying to use your mixed cell referencing to lock and make sure the movement is, then that's where you begin to have all of those, okay, lock here or don't lock this or use column. So I feel it's really not necessary for this because you're just trying to, and we've done mixed cell referencing. So if you need to use mixed cell referencing here to get your, of course, you know what to do. But I think this is simple enough and straightforward enough. So every time you come here and you change anything, of course, it reflects whatever the information of that very customer number. So that was it. It was a very simple assignment. Okay, so moving forward, Favor, I want to believe, okay, Favor, you can unmute.
So this is what I did exactly.
Okay.
But somebody said something in the chat area. What if we're dealing with a large quantity of data? Are we now going to be following these steps one after the other? Maybe we have limited time to actually do a work or an assignment that was given to us by our boss or something. We can't just be going through this.
Even if you're dealing with please, you need to mute because I'm getting all back. Don't worry. So even if you're dealing with a lot, all you're doing is you're trying to bring everything into just one column. So what time would that take you? All you just need to do is make sure in your array, everything is covered. Well, once everything is covered in that array, so every time you move this, so it still doesn't take time. Because now the truth is, if you want to do the first one, it's simple. You either use the log sign. Of course, if you're using the log sign, then you know what to do, just like what we did in the last one. That would mean that I need to do a mixed cell referencing so that if I need it moving horizontally, it's moving. And if I need, so I just want the columns changing when I move from one column to, so I could do that, but it's really not necessary here because everything I'm doing here is just for me to have everything in one column. So how much can that be when I know I'm already copying everything from here? Remember our array, when we did our array, we copied everything here. So no matter how much this data set would have been, I've copied everything here already. So it can't be that much. So Favor, I want to believe you understand me. Because the moment you start using column or you start using mixed cell referencing, if you're not very good at it, you get much more confused. So that's why I'm not even advising that. Just do what you know and you're used to. Do that, and of course it works. Okay. So let's move over to what we got. So yesterday we did something around XLOOKUP. So let's just, I said today we'll be returning multiple columns of XLOOKUP. So I want to believe we did practice. Of course, we have the data set, so I want to believe we practiced what was done in class, where we returned this and we returned this. Okay, so just as a last example, I want us to return these both columns together. So how do we do that? So I want to return multiple columns together. So equals to XLOOKUP. So I want to believe by now, most of us were already used to XLOOKUP. You can see it's very simple. So of course, our lookup value will still be the product here. Remember, this is not a table. So our lookup array. So what are we looking for? First, we always know our lookup array is here, comma, and then return array. In this case, we want to return these two columns. So it's our comma. Then if not found, let's just ignore that. And then of course we need an exact match. So if I close this and I hit enter, you can see that it returns both for me, both this and this. That was because I selected multiple these things. So if I come here and I drag it down, so let's say I drag down to last person here. So you can see it moves to this point and then it begins to give me. So of course, at this point, everybody knows what's causing this. We are no longer babies in this class. So all I need to do is go back to my original formula and just make sure, because this is not a table, that's why I'm experiencing this. So I'll just make sure everything here is locked. So come here, lock everything there. Come here, do same. So I'm locking that array. The moment I do this, and I hit that enter again, of course, let me try dragging it again. Let's see. So now you see that my answer is correct down to the very last one. Okay, so that's how you use XLOOKUP to return multiple columns or multiple values. Okay, so now I think we are done with XLOOKUP. So we've done B, we've done H, now we've done X. So now the next thing I want us to look at is index and match. It's also a lookup function. So let's move to index and match. So I believe we have this data set. So you can also practice in your own. Okay, for index and match. So what's index? Index is used to return a value in a given position. So it's also a lookup function. We use it to return values in a given position. But match, on the other hand, is used to return the relative position of a value. So let's come here. So let me say I have this, and I'm trying to look for something. I'm trying to look for the, what is it called? What will I use now? Okay, equals to, so let's start with index. So we say index returns a value or reference of the cell at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. Okay, so this is a big grammar, but let me simplify it. So the moment you hit index, the first thing it will ask you for is your array. After the array, it will ask you for a row number, and then it will ask you for a column number. So you give it an array, then you give it a row number, and then you give it a column number. And whatever it finds in that position is what it's going to return for you, the value it finds in that position. So if I'm using index now, let's say I want to return the name in the 45th row in column. So now this column number, you can see is in square bracket, showing you that it's optional. It's optional because if my index is, if I'm doing my index on just one column, therefore I don't need a column number because it's just a single column I'm using as my array and my row number is within that column. But in a case where I have multiple columns that are in my array, then I need to tell Excel which column exactly I'm trying to get whatever I'm getting. For example, for the single column, let's say I come here, for my array, I select everything here as my array, comma. So that's my array. The next thing is row number. So I'm trying to get the name, the first name that is in row 45. So row number, I'll say 45. Remember, the row number is picking the numbers from where my array starts from. It's not the number of my row. This row numbering here, I don't have a business with it. It's picking the row number from where my array started from. So that's why I can comfortably say 45, because I know that will give me the student with the rec number 1045. Okay, so row number, I'm saying 45, comma. So column, in this case, I don't need to give it a column number because it's just one column that I've selected. So I'll just close my bracket here and I'll hit enter. Immediately, it's telling me that the name in row 45 is Michael. So let's go down, let's see. That was for first name. So you can see here for 45, this is 45. The first name is Michael. So it's very correct. Then now, what of a situation where I have multiple columns now? So if I have multiple columns, let's say that my array, let me take the array again. So that array, let me say, it starts from here to here. Let me even select, okay, let me just select this point. So I have everything here. That's my array. So the row number now, let me use 39 as my row number. So in this case now, I cannot just close this. I have to give it a column number. If not, Excel will be confused because I have how many columns selected here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 columns selected here. So Excel will be confused where exactly it should return a value from me. So I need to now tell you the column I'm interested in. So in this case, I need the second name, that's the middle name of whoever is in that row 39. So what would that be? That would middle name is my third column in this array that I selected. Middle name is the third column. So I'll just tell it the third column is what I'm looking for. And the moment I hit enter, you can see it's telling me that the middle name for whoever is in row 39 in that array is Mayowa. So let's see. Where is 39? So here is 39. You can see Folake Mayowa. So it is very correct. That is the value it finds in that position. So everything index does is just to return value that is in a particular position. But now, match on the other end does not return value. Rather, what match does is to return the relative position. So let's say I don't know the row where Mayowa is. Maybe this data set is so much, I don't know the row where Mayowa is. I'm trying to look for which row exactly do I have Mayowa in. So that is where I can now use match. So that will be equals to match. So we say match returns the relative position of an item in an array that matches a specified value in a specified order. So match, the first thing here match will ask me for is lookup value. So I need to have something I'm using to look for that position of that thing. So now what I'm looking for is Mayowa. Let's use Mayowa as my lookup value, comma. So where is the lookup array? Where is it going to find Mayowa? So for match works with single column. When you're working with match, it works with just single column. So I cannot select multiple columns because I will not have a place to give it a column number. Okay, so now I know Mayowa is in this array, So I'll just select everything in that array. I know he's somewhere there. So after I've selected my lookup array, I would now tell it what I need. Is it exact match, less than or greater than? So in this case, I need an exact match. So I'll just close my bracket here and I'll hit enter. Can you see that immediately it has told me the position where Mayowa is? That Mayowa in that array is in row 39. So with this, I can easily know where Mayowa is. Okay, it's in row 39 from my array. So now, for some of us, this may not really be making sense. You may be feeling like, what do I need this for? So where this becomes very important or very valuable is when you're using both together. So that's what we call two-way lookup. If I'm using this for a two-way lookup, it becomes much more valuable. So let's say here, I have, let's say rec number. I have the student's rec number. And then let's say here, I have scores. I have rec number, I have scores. So under this rec number, I want to do a drop down and put all my rec number in there. So I'll come here, data validation. So where is the source of my list? Source of my list is here. From here, down everything. So I'll just hit my OK. If I come here, now I have all of my rec number here. Okay. So now here, what I want to do here is I want to also do data validation. This time, I'm using a list. Where is the source of this list? So for the scores, the source is these are the scores from first test. I want to put all of this into that list. So I'll come here, I'll hit enter. I'll hit OK. So now here, under these scores, if I come here, I have all the scores, first test or second test or whichever score. So now, what do I want to do? I want to perform a two-way lookup such that for whatever is up here, I could always use the rec number to get whatever information I'm looking for. Let's say, for example, I'm looking for the exam score of this rec number. I could just come here and change this to exam. And it should automatically just give me the score for exam for this same rec number. And if I come here and I change this rec number to any other thing, it should automatically give me also the scores that matches whatever is up here. So that's what we call two-way lookup. So now, how do I do that? Using index and match. So now that's where all those statements I've been making, this is where it comes to play. First is, remember I said index returns values, while match returns position. So this becomes very, very important. I want to be sure everybody's following. Hope we are all following. Please, are we all following to this point before I move forward? Okay. Okay, so I think I have so many years, so that means we are following. Okay, so now, in achieving this, what I would do is, I'll be using index and match together. So I'm using it together because I have multiple things I want to do. Remember, inside of here, I have different rec numbers. Remember, inside of here, I have all the different scores for first test, for second test, for third test, for exams, and even for total. And I want all of this responding at the same time. So what do I do? Equals to, the first thing I would use would be index. Why am I starting with index? Because it's value, the value I want displayed here. So I start with index. Now my array, index will ask for array. So what will be my array? My array will be what I want it to display for me. So that array would be everything here as far as this course is concerned. So everything to this point. You can say I've copied everything, all the different scores. I'm using it now to create my array. So comma. Now, my row number, what will my row number be? So for this row number, I cannot just say go to row this, because I want it changing per time according to whatever I have here. So there's no way I can just say go to so row. So what will I do? That is where I'll now bring in match. I'll bring in match. Why am I bringing in match? I'm bringing in match because I want match to help me find the position of the, remember we are talking about row number. So I want match to help me find the position of the row and return it so that index can now give me what I have there. So in doing that, I've brought up match. Match is now asking me for a lookup value. So for the lookup value of match, I'll say match, anything you see in here, use that as my lookup value, comma. So match will ask me this thing in here, where am I going to find it? That's the lookup array. I'll say that thing in there, you're going to find it here. It is all here in this place I've selected. So I hit my comma. So match will ask me, okay, so when I find everything, whatever I'm looking for there, should I return an exact match or an approximate less than or greater than? In this case, I need an exact match. So I hit exact. Immediately, I'm done with that row number. So I'll close this, hit my comma. After hitting my comma, and now bring up my, you see that it takes me to column number now. I'm supposed to give it a column number. But then I have multiple columns selected. Column for first test, column for second test, column for third test, and so on. So I cannot just give it a column number, because what will happen when I need discuss from the other columns? So that is why I'll bring in match again. It will help me do the looking for the position. Okay, so now match will ask me, what is your lookup value? So for this part, my lookup value would be, I'll tell match whatever is in here, in this place. So if it's exam, if it's total, if it's first test, whatever is in here is what I'm trying to get. Okay, so the moment I do that, comma, it's now asking me for lookup array. So this thing in here is asking me, where am I going to find it? I'll say, okay, for the lookup array, just come up here. You find it here from this point to this point. That's where you have all of this. So I hit my comma again. So it will ask me, okay, when I find it, should I return an exact match? I'll say yes, return an exact match. And then I'll close my bracket and I'll hit enter. The moment I hit enter, you see it's giving me error. So I want to see somebody who is following. Why are we getting error? Click one, click one, click one. Why are we getting error? Somebody said a close bracket is missing. Another one said double bracket. He said not exact match, but approximate. Okay. You should close it multiple times. Okay. You didn't close the brackets well. Okay. Okay. At least it goes a long way to show that some persons are following. Okay. So truly it's the bracket. So we opened the index where we started all of this with. But the moment we jumped to March, we opened March and we closed at the end of it. We opened another March and we closed. But that initial index that we started with has not been closed. So that is why the formula is showing us that. So what do we do now? Let's just close for my index. So the moment we close for index, let's hit enter again. Let's see. So it's correct now. Okay. So it showed me that for this very rect number, the exam score for this rect number was 22. So let's say I change this to the total score to see what that rect number scored total. So it's telling me the total score for this very rect number is 38. Of course, we are seeing it here. It's the first rect number, so we cannot see. So now, what if I come here and I decide to look up another rect number? Let's say maybe 10. So you can see immediately I hit 10. It moves to the total score of 10 because it's total we have here. And if I come here and select another field, maybe let's say third test, you can see it gives me the third test of this very rect number. Okay. So sorry for those that you're not hearing me clearly. I think I'm doing all my best to see how maybe I can be very audible. I have had a very hectic day today. Like I practically just got in and trying to set the Zoom so that we can start the class.
You are audible. I don't know why they are still complaining.
So please just manage me. I myself am very tired because I had a very hectic day. Had to attend a rally, had to do so a lot of things. So if you notice, you see that our link was dropped maybe just a minute to class. That was because I just got back and I was trying to. So please bear with me. Okay, so at this point, let's take questions. So I will entertain questions, as many questions as we have from everything we've done. The XLOOKUP, the index and match. So please, if you have a question, raise your hand. I will unmute you so that you can ask. Okay, I think I have one hand raised. So Benga, I can unmute.
Good evening, Mr. Ike. Now, my question is, can XLOOK do the work of index and match altogether? Like instead of me using index and match, I should be able to use XLOOK or VLOOK for this same solution.
Yes, that's actually our assignment. So that's the assignment. The assignment is that this same thing we are doing, everybody is going to do it with XLOOKUP. So look for a way that you use XLOOKUP to do exactly this. And let's see how you're able to come around that. So you brought the assignment earlier. So we said XLOOKUP looks both ways, whether left or right. So of course, if you know how to manipulate XLOOKUP very well, it will do this for you. So, but that is what everybody is going to do. So that will be the assignment for the week. Benga, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Because actually I've tried something like this before, but I used XLOOKUP. So you now using match and index. I was like, wow, it's similar to what I did, what I practiced maybe some days ago
Okay.
using
So
XLOOKUP.
you tried something like this and you used XLOOKUP and it worked.
Yes. So
Okay. That's okay. So please give others the opportunity to try their own out.
okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
I will even take a look at what you did to see. Did you use drop down in your this thing?
Yes, I used your drop down for this course, but for the registration number, I didn't use drop down.
No, both ways, use drop down. I want to see how both ways can respond.
Sounds fun. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Oasis, you can unmute now. Austin Net.
Okay, good evening, Mr. AK. Am I
Good
audible?
evening.
All
Yes,
right.
yes, you're audible.
I just need a further explanation on the last XLOOKUP function you did. I think I got lost at some point where you are trying to use XLOOKUP to get multiple columns or so.
Okay. Do you have this data set?
Yes, I do.
Have you tried it out on your own?
I missed out on the function, so I was hoping probably I could see the function again from the function bar so I can be able to wrap my head around it.
The function is not this thing now. It's just exactly what we did yesterday. You know where to choose your lookup value from. You know where to choose your your lookup array and your return array. So just that the only different thing now is your return array, you're not selecting one column, you're selecting multiple columns. So for it to
Okay.
return at the same time. So it's just the same thing. So try it again. If you still have an issue, then let me know.
All right, fine. Thank you so
So
much.
when you're done, you know you're supposed to make sure Excel is not moving relatively. So you can just
Yeah,
log
sure.
in. Okay,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay. Any other question? Favor. Okay, Favor, you can unmute.
Sorry, sir. This is not really relating to this. So how can I copy like almost 3 sheets to another sheet?
You want to copy 3 sheets?
Yes, something like that to another sheet.
Then you copy them, the contents of each sheet, one after the other. Now. You cannot be copying from one sheet and you want to drag the copy to the next sheet.
Okay.
So you copy the contents of each sheet to that sheet. So after I pasted that first one, I go to the next sheet, copy, go back to that same sheet, paste it there. So no matter the volume of things I'm copying and where I'm copying from, it's not Excel's business. Excel's business is if I come and paste it there, I would have it there. Favor, are you with me?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So any other question? Any other question around what we've done so far? So in the absence of any other hand, I will. Okay, I think I have one hand raised. Every data set we are using is in the group. So the person that say you need data set, please, all the data sets are in the group. Okay, Jude. Jude, you can unmute.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Ake, and good evening, class. Okay, I just want to go back to the last assignment we did. So in that last assignment, when I was doing my own, when I choose the array and I put it back at the place we are trying to work on, the environment we are trying to work on. So it will change to a different sheet name. And it was giving me issues until a friend I was working together with now pointed out that whereas I go to select sheet 1, by the time I come back to where I have put my formula of equals to VLOOKUP, it changes it to sheet 3. So we now have to manually edit that sheet 3 to sheet 1 before the thing worked. So I was wondering why he behaved like that. Was there something I didn't get right? I don't know if you understood me.
So you were copying from one sheet.
You know,
Okay,
for the
let's say you were selecting your array from another sheet.
Yes.
And then when you go back there, it's not working. It's rather referencing a different sheet.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think the only thing that would make something like that happen is the fact that after your selection, you did not put a comma before moving to the other sheet. So it keeps bringing in unnecessary listening. So every time you move to a sheet and you select your array or whatever you're selecting, you have to hit a comma before you move to another sheet. If not, just as it has selected, it has referenced that sheet. When you come to this other sheet, it will reference it and add to that. So that will automatically make the formula or whatever you're trying to do to become erroneous.
Okay, now I get it. Now I get it. Thank you. Because it troubled me. Oh, it really troubled me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you the same Jude using two different devices? Because I have another Jude here.
Yes, I'm the same person because network was throwing out, so I have to use different networks. Sorry about it.
Okay. Okay, Francis. Francis, you can unmute.
Okay, good evening to you all.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm Francis from Ghana. I'll be enjoying the class. I think this last week I missed some of the class. Yesterday I joined, but when we did the 1 hour, I wanted to find out if you'll be getting that link. I wanted to practice that revision that you did yesterday briefly before we had a break. If you get the link to that class, so that I can practice and understand the XLOOK very well.
The link to which
Thank you.
class? The correction we did yesterday.
Yesterday. Yes.
I already dropped the recording and the link to the class. It's already in the group.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Then I'll go back and check for it. Look out for it.
Okay. Okay, any other question? Any other question? Okay, so I want to believe we are all good. Let me check the chat area. Okay, so I think Robert Faith, you say you don't understand. I should explain I think this should be index and match. I should explain it again. Okay, so let me do that all over again. Okay, so yeah, I decided to call this. Now I want to use first name for this. So let me call this name. Let me call this scores. So under name, I said I did a data validation. I used a list, and the source of this list, of course, I'm using name, this first name. So this will be the source of the list. Okay. So I'll hit my OK. So now I have my data validation here with all the names in here. So then the next thing is here, I want to also do a data validation for the different scores. So the source here now is the different scores. Oh. So source is the different scores here. And then I'll come and hit my OK2. So if I come here, you can see I have all of the scores here. So because I've done this and I've done this, here now, I just want this to be reflecting the scores in accordance to what is here and what is here. That's just what I'm doing. And since what I want returned here is the value, that is why I'm using index first, because it's only index that can return the value that it finds in a given position. Match does not return value. Match only tells you the position where that value is, the value you're using as your lookup array, as your lookup value rather. So that is what match will do. So in doing that, say equals to, so I start with index. And index, the first thing is to ask me for an array. So this is my array. So that is my array, comma. Then of course it will ask me for a row number, which is the normal thing. I'm supposed to give it the row. But in this case, I cannot just pick a row number because I have multiple names I want to return and they are all in different rows. So what will I do? Instead of putting a row number, I'll now call on match to help me with that function of row number. So I'll tell match you what you're looking for is actually this name that is here, whatever name is here. That should be what you're looking for, comma. Then it will now ask me this name that is here, where am I going to find it? I say, okay, that's the lookup array. Then match, come here, everything here. You'll find whatever name is in that place, they are all in this place. So that is the lookup array. I hit my comma. So it will now ask me, okay, when I go to that very position, should I return an exact match? Because yes, we need exactly what is there to be returned for us. So I'll close my bracket, hit my comma, then it moves to column number. You see, the moment I finish with row number, it moves to column number. So for the column number again, I still use match because I'm working with multiple columns. So now, for this one, match will ask me what's the lookup value. I say, okay, is this score, whatever is in this score, that should be the lookup value. Then, so now ask me this thing here, where am I going to find it? That's the lookup array. I'll say come here from this point down to this point. You find everything in there here. And then, of course, exact match. close my bracket. So we established that when you close the bracket, you can see this is the bracket for this March, but there's no bracket for index that we started with. So just add another bracket for index. So the moment I hit enter, it's giving me error. Why is it giving me error? Because there are no values that matches what we asked it to use. So now let's give it value. I'll come here. So I'm actually looking for your Tola. And then what am I looking for Tola for? I want to see Tola's first test. Tola's first test. So now, if I hit enter, okay. So if I hit enter now, so Tola scored 2 in the first test. Let's confirm that Tola 2 in the first test. So basically, everything we are doing here is just us using what is here to go into that array, search for it, and then return whatever is here. Remember, this is what we are using for our index, the values. I think, except I have questions to answer, I think we might just need to end here for the night. I'm very sorry, I might promised us yesterday that we're going to do much. Honestly, I'm talking and it feels like I'm feeling sleepy, like I'm really, really exhausted. I can even feel it myself. So I think we should do this. Then let's try the assignment. The assignment was doing this same thing, but in your own case, you're using rec number, and on this part, you're using scores. So use XLOOKUP and try to recreate what we just did here using index and match. So use XLOOKUP for it, and then we'll share whatever you came up with. So this assignment, you're to do it, and then you're not to submit it. We will discuss about it in our next class. So please, there is no submission. Okay, so now I'm waiting for questions so that we can end our class tonight. Please, I'm very sorry. My day was just something else to do. I'm really, really exhausted. Okay, Favor, you can unmute.
Sorry, sir. I know I'm asking too many questions. Okay, for the name area, okay, we have first name, we have middle name, and we have last name. Just like you did for scores, you selected the several scores, although their different scores did not appear, but the first, second, and third score with exam and total appeared. So the first name, second name, and last name, can we put in, like, drop down all the names in the as a drop down thing? If we select, because sometimes we can have, how do I put this now? We can have the same name, the same first name for different people. So I don't know how I'm going to really ask this question, Shad. I hope you understand me.
I really don't understand you, but I think what you're trying to say is if you can create a drop down and put all the names.
Yes.
So your drop down works with a list. So that means that list must come from just one listing source. So if you're now having multiple names on your list, then that drop down would not work because a list does not have multiple, except the 3 names. They are together. They are not in different columns. But once they are in different columns, then there's an issue. But if I have a column called maybe name, and in that column I have the people 3's name together, so of course that would work as far as it's in one column.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Eke. I think what she's trying to ask is this. Now, sorry, I'm barging in on this. Apologies. I should have raised my hand. I'm sorry. But what I think she's trying to ask, because I thought about it also, but the solution I now give to myself is that can be settled with the registration number. Now, you will notice that on reg number 1001, the name is Ola. After Ola, we have Ayo. What she's saying is, what if at reg number 1001, the first name is Ola, then you come to 1010. Another person with that reg number is also bearing Ola as first name. Then maybe when you go to 1022, there's also a third person bearing Ola. That's why she's asking if we can do it like we did for the scores, where you can use, for the scores, you can select first test, second test, third test, and exam. So that in a situation where more than one person is bearing the same first name, we can now use the second name to isolate who is who. I guess that's what she's asking. The lady, I don't know her
Yeah,
name.
yeah. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. So once if you're working with drop down, that's just trying to create a list, please always make sure your list, you're using something unique. So that's the first rule. Whatever you're using to create your list has to be unique. Because when you have duplicates of it, then Excel would only return that of the first person for you. So if you have Ola and you have another Ola somewhere, if I enter Ola, it will only give me the Ola. Now, if the list has Ola and has another Ola, and I'm choosing the other Ola that is down, in as much as I'm choosing that one, it will always return whatever is in the position where that one is. So it will work here. But always try to make sure in sensitive situations like this, you use something that is unique so that you don't have that issue. But in this case, if I have Ola up and I have Ola down, and I bring out a list and I go to click on the Ola down, of course, Excel will understand that position. Remember, I'm using match. So match will see where I picked and it will look for the position of where that very Ola is. And that is what it will return to me. So it will work. But I'm just saying this for other scenarios, especially with other formulas. Yeah, match is doing its work. So match will always go to that position and make sure it gives me what is in that position. But in other scenarios, when you have duplicate values, please always use something unique to look for whatever you're looking for so that you don't fall into that trap.
I asked this question because I was just picturing myself like, okay, I'm seated as a bank a cashier or something. Someone just comes. I ask, okay, what's your name? And the person tells me Ola, for example, and I type in the I select the Ola from the drop down in the name area, and I say, okay, is your name so and so? The person says, no, that's not me. So that's why I was asking if I can just put, even if I don't put the full name, all the names that is appearing there, but just like the way you did it for the scores area, I can just put first name, middle name, and last name without also selecting all the names. Just select that's B2 column D2.
Okay. So now, for that part where you asked, the thing there is, if you go to the bank and they are trying to retrieve your information, there's no way the banker will ask you what's your name. Because what's your name can never fetch them that. Because now, if, for example, if I'm coming here, I have a drop down here. But let's say I come here, so if I had 1 million people in this list, can I start scrolling down to look for the particular person? No, I can't do that. But I could just come here. So instead of scrolling, I could just come here and type a name. So let me say I just come here and I type, let me see one name that, okay, I type Shotubi. So you can see it's giving me the selection. The moment I see the Shotubi I'm looking for, I select it. So it will, but now, when you have, of course, in this case, what if even this name I had another one? So that will still give me issues. So, but what I'm trying to say here is, if you go to a bank and they have a database where they want to use to retrieve your information, they will not ask you for name. That is why you have a unique account number. So the only thing they will ask you is, oh, please, what's your account number? Something unique, account number, NIN, BVN, but it has to be something unique to only you. So the moment they enter that unique thing in their to return every other thing they are looking for, but they can't go asking for name, except maybe the list was created in a way where the names, all three names were entered together. Of course, the person knows there's no way it's, yes, it's possible, but it's rare for somebody to bear all your three names together. So in that case now, I could just ask, okay, what's your name? You mentioned all three names, then I used the names like that, three together to look for you. Because I believe at that point, that name will be unique to only you, because I'm looking for all three names. But if
Phone
not,
number 2 can be.
phone number 2 is unique. So phone number, account number, BVN, NIN, something unique is what can be used in scenarios like that. Okay, please, any other question?
Sorry, Mr. AK. It's not as if our wahala is too much. It's just for better learning. Still talking about what Favor is saying. Now, I think the simple yes or no answer that I perceive Favor wants to know is, there's a way we were able to use Match to put first test, second test, third test, and exams together in one cell where we can select whichever one we want. I think the simple yes or no answer we are looking for now is, can we do the same? Can we, in this place we have name, we use the list to put the names there. Can we use Match to do that? I think that's the dilemma we want to solve now. Is it possible? I don't know if I made any sense.
If you use Match to do that, where we have name, then that means you want to bring in multiple names, first name, middle name, last name, in that very column. True or false?
Yes.
Then if you're doing that, how does data validation now work on something like that? Because if I draw all three, remember I used it on this other side because this is where I was going to get my index from. And I need index to return everything in here. But I couldn't do it here because I'm not going to be asking it to return everything in here. But yeah, I want to be able to, when I'm looking for the score for the first test or second test or third test, to be able to retrieve it. So it's a bit different.
Okay, so the simple yes or no is that it won't work. Is a no. It can't work.
Yes, because you're not using index on that part. So it would have worked if maybe I was using rec number here, and then on this part I was using names to say, okay, I want to, when I enter a rec number, I should return the name. So maybe first name, second name, last name. So when I enter a rec number, whatever name I'm looking for, I'll select and it will give me that name that matches that rec number. Then that would work. You understand? But
yes,
putting it this way and still trying to get my scores, no, I wouldn't.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So please, any other question?
Sir, please, our LAMAS is down. The portal is down. We're unable to access. So if your team can help us with it.
What's that?
A learning portal.
Yeah, I think a message was dropped in the group by Mr. Kim. So we are undergoing an upgrade on our website. So currently everything on that this thing is on hold. So Akim dropped a message to that effect. that we should.
Noted, sir.
Okay. So are we good? Please, everybody should attempt the assignment on the using XLOOKUP to do this, because in our next class, I would ask people to share screen and show me what they did. Very, very important. So please, everybody. I just don't want us submitting it. Even I would have said, let's do it and submit. Okay, Francis, your hand is up. You can unmute.
Okay, thank you very much once again. This one has to do with, I saw some promotion on the platform, but because the messages were a lot, I couldn't really read to understand. I want to understand, is it an upgrade of the course we are doing now, or please, what exactly is it about?
So I think because they are promoting is data science. So as a data analyst, it's also very important. Let me use that word. It's important or imperative that you also, that's if you're truly you want to go find this in your career as a data analyst, that you take it to the level of data science. So at the beginning of this class, I think I did a whole lot trying to tell us the difference between the two and all of that, looking at their scope, their objectives, and all of that. So data science is like an MSc program to data analytics. That's because everything you do at the level of data analytics, you're just working with historical data, trying to do basic analysis. But at the level of data science, it goes beyond basics. So there, the program starts from Python. You do Python essentials, then you move on. There are things like Matplotlib, there are things like scikit-learn, there are things like, so a whole lot. Is very vast at that point. But you must first have gotten knowledge of data analytics before you can move. And the truth is, the way the world is moving now, we're having so many data analysts, a whole lot of them, because data analytics is one course that everybody is really pushing in for. But we don't have so many data scientists. So I think it will be an advantage to most of us here. If you can push it to that level, please do. It will really set you apart. That is just the truth. Okay, and I think currently a promo is ongoing, and the promo has really slashed the price. So if you can take advantage of that, please do, because I was shocked when I saw that promo price. So,
So please, will it commence after this one is completed, or to run alongside?
Exactly what I wanted to ask.
it will run alongside. It will run alongside.
Okay.
I think the date is sometime next month or so that is commencing. But the days are different, so it wouldn't be an issue.
No clash. Okay.
Yes.
All right, then I'll register. Thank you.
Okay, any other question? Okay, so in the absence of any other question.
Oh, sir.
Okay.
You just mentioned that the days will be different, but how about the time? Is the time going to be the same as, so that maybe some of us can reconsider? Because I was thinking it might clash and we will not be able to do.
So the days will be different. I think the days for that one is, I think Sundays and Monday. So for the time will still be in the evenings. So either 8 or still 8:30. To still be around 8 or 8:30. So it's going to use the same time format we use. The days are different. The days I think is Monday and Sundays. Sundays and Mondays. Okay.
Sorry, sir. I was thinking of going to register for it, but I just feel like it's going to bombard my head so much. But I'm telling myself I can do it, just like what we started with for the class. So I don't know. Won't it just be cumbersome for the brain? Because I'm trying to understand this. The next minute I'm going for data science. Python is going to be there.
You see, that's the problem. Some people, when they just hear that Python, it gets them scared. Python is actually is one of the simplest programming language. Honestly, if I must tell you the truth. In short, that's why most companies now, even most applications now and things done, people tend to want to use Python. It's a very simple programming language, and you're not even going deep into the framework. Nobody is going to teach you the Django. So it's just the essentials, Python essentials, and then you go do the basic things that relate to data science. So it's not like you're not doing the Python that a web developer would have done in using to build a web or an app application. No, the Python you're doing is different. So it's something you can cope. I honestly think so. Because, of course, one thing we do here is we try to make sure everything is broken down to its basic so that everybody can be carried along. So don't get scared because you had Python. It's not going to be okay.
Sorry, we know you're tired and you want to go and rest, but this data science part of it that you just said, I was distracted. You were trying to explain something to somebody on the data science, and I think I'm interested in it. I've tried to do, I've done it actually somehow, but it was like when we are in university, the lecturer just comes and run his lecture notes and you go and sort yourself out. So it would be nice to do it again. But you were trying to explain something about it being more advanced or superior to what we are doing. I didn't quite get it. I don't know if you can just take 1 minute to explain that again.
So I'm saying data science is a course we offer to students after they've at least gone some miles with data analytics because it is required that you have the basics before you can move into that. Then I now say you can, the way the program is going to be running, it will be running concurrently. So you would still have no issue. So the basic thing there is at that level, the things you're handling, the data sets and all of that is much more complex than like now you see what we are doing here, using SS3 just to show the simple, but there, no, it's a bit more complex. So, but is it something you're going to be able to do? Yes, that I believe very well. Because if it was not possible, then we will not tell you come and register for it. So everything will be broken down and you take it a step, one step at a time. So if you have the money and you can take advantage of this opportunity now, because the truth is, when the promo period ends, that course is going to be way much expensive than what it's been advertised for now. So if you can seize that opportunity, fine. But if not, if you feel it will be too much for you and you need to finish one before, it's just your choice. But if you feel it's something you can juggle around, it's not the time is not going to be the same with our data analytics class. So it's fine.
Thank you, Mr. AK. Thank you so much. Let me ask a rather childlike question, which I know somebody has asked before in our group. By the time I'm done with this data analytics and data science, suppose I register for data science, which I sure will I have gained enough knowledge to switch roles? Let's say I want to move from what I'm currently doing where I work and switch to maybe the tech area. Will this knowledge I'm going to gain here, because I know we have not even gone 30% of this data analytics class, and what I'm going to gain from the data science class, will two of them combined be sufficient for me to be confident at taking up another role in a tech area? Please don't be offended. I know you're tired.
Okay, so I'm going to be very blunt and truthful with us. So there's something I used to tell people in learning any tech skill. I think one of the fastest tech skill anyone can learn, and in a matter of months, you're already doing things, and it's maybe perhaps let me say maybe digital marketing. So if I'm doing digital marketing, if I know how to run ads, I could stand before somebody and say, I'm a digital marketer. At least I know how to run ads. So without me even maybe knowing how to build a very good sales funnel, without me even knowing how to maybe build a very good landing page. But I just believe I can run ads. At least that's a big one. I can do something with that. But now, you knowing certain things is very different from you having hands-on experience. So one thing is learning the skill. Another thing is giving yourself time enough and practice enough to develop in it. So if I want to be very honest with you, you don't learn data analytics and data science and say, in 6 months you're a pro or you're an expert. That's you deceiving yourself, except maybe you already had a foundation. So these things, these are things that are relatively complex. So you need time to expose yourself to different scenarios, different circumstances, and be able to conquer those circumstances. Of course, experience would always be the best teacher. What makes you an expert in anything is not because you have the knowledge, it's because you have the knowledge, and at the same time, you've applied that knowledge in different scenarios, and you've been able to conquer different. So yes, so many people know how to run ads, but yet we still have people who are ad experts, that if I'm running an ad and I have an issue, I know, let me go and look for this person. He's an expert in this. So what makes him an expert? I also know how to run ad. But because that person has developed himself to the point where he knows the different problems that are associated with running ads, such that if you just call him and say, I was trying to make payment, and this is what Facebook is telling me, immediately he knows what's causing that. He can tell you, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this, do this, do this, do this. So that level of expertise is not gotten through just studying the course. It's gotten through repeated process of experimenting what you're doing that thing over and over and over, that you're meeting different scenarios and you're able to conquer all of those scenarios. Of course, every time you conquer a scenario, that adds to your body of knowledge. You become wiser, you've learned a new thing. You now know, another time somebody is talking about that thing, you can just sit from somewhere and just give the person a solution because you have conquered that very problem. So that is how tech is, no matter the field it is, whether cloud computing, whether cybersecurity, whether data, you need time to practice. So it's just that, most of us, we are online students and we are not based in Lagos. In our physical locations, we make it compulsory for us graduating students to do at least a 3-month internship. Now, that internship, what we do with it is we open up students to working conditions. So we have an arm of the organization. It's called Digital World Swift. In that Digital World Swift, that arm is focused with rendering services for companies. So companies reach out to us with different kind of services, and that is the arm of the organization that handles that. So in that arm, that is where our interns go to work. So every day you resume in the office, you're given a task, okay, this is this, this is this. In short, sometimes companies ask us to come and set up a full team physically in their location for them. So all we do is we have a team there, and the team reports to us whatever they are doing and all of that. So you need those hands-on experience for you to be able to tell somebody, I'm an expert in this field. It's not just learning theoretically. Yes, we are doing certain examples here, but then you need to meet real-life scenarios where those things are usable in the corporate world. So that is when you can now say, I'm an expert in this. You can beat, and believe me, it takes time. Sometimes I used to tell people it takes at least a minimum of 2 years for you to be able to say that confidently. 2 years of constant practice and constantly putting, giving your all to it. So that's just the truth I can tell us.
Thank you for your very honest
Hello.
opinion. Thank you so much. But we can
Yeah.
also do internship remotely now. Don't you think so?
Yeah, we do remotely, but okay, this is what I'll do. I will speak to the person in charge of Swift, and then I think there are we have some remote students too that used to join the internship, but I don't really know how the whole thing works. So I'll speak to him, and whatever it is, I'll.
Hello. Yeah,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Eke.
That's enough to know.
Good
Okay,
evening.
okay, John, go ahead.
Yes, I also wanted to know what's the difference between business analysis and all these analytics and science, data science.
So when you're talking about business analytics, you're basically focused around around financial analysis. So that analysis is more focused, not like here where we are using data sets from different, trying to look at different, no. There, everything you're doing, the formulas you're working on, the data sets, everything they are all financial formulas, financial data sets. And then you do a whole lot with Power BI. That's a business intelligence. So it's more focused on financial things. So that's just the difference.
Is it different from fintech, financial technology, or something like that?
I don't know what you're trying to, or what you're referring to. So I wouldn't know. But I just know business analytics is different.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you all very much. So I think even though the class we had to end earlier than, but I think it was very impactful and also insightful. So I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who joined and who also contributed. So thank you until we meet again next week. So please, let's try to do the assignment. I know now that I said we are not submitting, some people will not even attempt. Please, let's attempt it. Let's try. Thank you very much. And you all should have a wonderful night rest until we meet again next week.
Good night, sir.